Everybody needs good neighbours with a little understanding. You can find the perfect blend. Neighbours should be there for one another. That's when good neighbours become good friends.
Goodness, look at the time. It's just flown by. You're so easy to talk to, Max.
Oh, sorry, Edith. Didn't get much sleep last night.
Having trouble, are you?
Well, not usually. It's just that lot next door and their flaming rock music. I mean, surely you must have heard them.
When I hit the pillow, that's it.
Well, you were lucky then. Listen, thanks for the great meal. I mean, I really enjoyed myself.
Thanks for sharing my birthday with me.
It was a pleasure.
Well, I best be off then.
Right. Good night, Edith.
Night, Max. Oh, Max, there's somebody to see you.
Oh, Jim, come on in, come on in.
Mate. Sorry to call on so late, Max.
Oh, no worries, sit down.
Who's your lady friend?
Oh, one of the other tenants. It was her birthday and she wanted to share it with someone, so she cooked me dinner. It's funny, sad, I mean, she's real lonely, you know?
Yeah, well, I reckon it could be pretty lonely living in a place like this.
Oh, it's not so bad. Anyway, how's things with you?
Oh, pretty good. Pretty rotten, actually.
Oh, yeah? What's the trouble?
I'm having a huge fight with Paul at the moment.
Paul? He's the last one I expect to give you problems.
Yeah, well, me too.
What is it then?
Well, he wants to give up his course and go and work for Nick's airline as a steward. And I can't understand why he won't finish the course first.
What can you do?
Well, Helen reckons I should accept it. She's got a point when she says that what's really bugging me is having to let go the reins.
Yeah, I know.
When he's grown up now, I don't have the right to tell him what to do with his life.
It's a hard habit to break, bud.
Yeah, not wrong. Anyway, how are things with you? I mean, I have little enough to complain about, really.
Oh, fear to terrible.
Seen much of the family?
Oh, yeah, Shane's called in quite a bit and seen down here. Maria and I having dinner tomorrow night.
Reconciliation?
Oh, no, Shane wants to know why we split up and we've got to work out what we're going to tell him.
You can't tell him the truth?
I don't know about that, Jim.
Will you relax?
No, something's happened.
Look, if they can't fight their way out of the argument, they'll talk their way out of it.
What makes you so sure?
Well...
Oh, careful, mate.
Oh, no, what's happened?
That was terrible, Daphne. We were lucky to get out of there alive.
What have they done to you?
Nothing, really. Mind you, there are some young ladies there we wouldn't have minded letting assault our person.
You rotten creep! It's not funny.
So some people just don't have a sense of humour.
Well, let me know when you get one. Oh, you're incorrigible.
You betcha.
So what happened? Oh, when we got there, the police were there, and your friend Greg Arnold was having an argument with one of them. Of course, the policeman won. Then they carted him off in the divvy van.
Oh, he was so lucky that the police got there first, mate.
His old man is going to freak when he's got to bail him out of jail.
Oh, what a shame. But he can rely on me for my utmost discretion.
So where have you been all this time?
Oh, well, Paul had to check out that Julie wasn't still at the party.
And when we were sure of that, we realised there were some young ladies there that were stranded without rides home.
And being gentlemen and they being in the neighbourhood.
We thought it was our civic duty to get them home safely.
Here I've been, worried sick, while you two are out scoring.
Hey, we didn't do too badly, if I say so myself.
Some knights in shining armour.
It's the thought that counts, Daph.
You guys should be on a leash.
You would have seen the girls in the car.
Well, that does it. I've made up my mind.
About what?
I'd be mad to leave behind so many chivalrous men. I'm withdrawing my notice, Mr. Clarke. We'll be bored silly without you lot around.
You beauty.
Fantastic.
It's 2 o'clock in the bloody morning! Shut up in there and go to bed! Any encouragement.
Get off! My favourite.
Shut up in there or I'll call the cops! I pay rent too, you know, and I expect a good night's sleep. Who the hell do you think you are? That's right, I'll call the cops. This is the last time I warn you, I ain't had enough. It's the last time.
It's you. You're not content with tormenting an old lady during the day. You have to harass me all night as well.
You're all just trying to keep them quiet in there.
They're not making any noise that I can hear.
Well, they will till I shut them up.
Well, it's bad enough that you disrupt the whole building, but you try and blame it on innocent people. You've got no shame. I'll report you to the landlord in the morning.
Look, I'm sorry, Miss Logan. I don't know what come over me. 1 second I was lying in there in bed, and next second I was out banging the door.
Well, you ought to see a psychiatrist about your sleepwalking and your kleptomania.
Yeah, I will, I promise. I'll ring and make an appointment first thing in the morning.
It's for your own good, young man.
Yeah, thank you very much for your help.
Just you make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I will, I promise. I'll strap myself to the bed next time.
Good for you. I'm an old woman. I cannot put up with this sort of ruckus every night. No.
Sounds like that Arnold fella could do with having some manners thumped into him.
Well, don't worry, Dad. I gave him a beauty. Although I shouldn't imagine he felt it, actually. He was that drunk.
Yeah, well, at least they didn't press you into staying around.
No way. Wild horses wouldn't have kept me there.
Well, are we ready?
Just a moment.
Jim, about Max.
Hmm?
Is he really all right? I mean, is he looking after himself?
Well, he's doing better than we are. He'd polished off duck, l'orange and a big cheesecake before I even got there.
Any complaints about my cooking should be passed on to the budget committee.
Hey, listen, this woman he's living with, what's she like?
She's a neighbour, and he's not living with her, not the way you mean anyway. All right, let's get out of here, shall we?
Dad, there's something I want to tell you. Well, that was the airline on the phone.
Oh, yeah?
I got the job! And I start training as soon as possible.
Ah, congratulations. You must be very happy. How long is the training?
Oh, didn't even ask.
Well, it shouldn't take too long to learn to pass out trays and serve drinks.
Now, you make me sick sometimes. Is that the best you can come up with?
You've got a point there, you know.
Oh, thanks, Dad. Thanks. Look, if I'm such a disappointment to you, perhaps it'd be better if I just moved out. I mean, I'm earning now. I can get a flat somewhere.
Not on your life. There's no reason for you to move out as long as I'm living here.
Well, what's the point of hanging around if he's going to keep calling me an idiot all the time?
Come on, Paul, you're behaving like a 5-year-old. All right, I'm sorry.
Well, thanks.
Look, I want a truce declared between you two, and you keep your opinions to yourself. Well?
All right.
Are you sure?
Right. Let's go, shall we?
Yes, Dad.
You've never been so embarrassed in all your life. You have told me 30 times already.
Don't add insolence to what you've already accomplished, young man.
Yes, Dad.
Great morning, isn't it? How's the party, Greg?
Interesting.
Oh, good. How are you, Mr. Arnold? You look like you've had a late night. Wait,
Yes, I had a lot of paperwork to catch up on.
no rest for the wicked, eh?
You'd better be getting in, Mr. Clarke. We're due to open soon.
Oh, yes, sir. Are you coming in, Greg, old mate?
I'd like to have a few words with my son in private, if you don't mind.
Oh, well, fair enough. Sir?
Now, I think it would be wise if you had another look at that credit analysis program that's caused so much trouble. Don't you?
Who is it?
Your neighbour from next door, Mrs. Harris.
Oh, hang on.
Hello, what can I do for you?
Hello, Edith Harris.
Hi, Steve O'Donnell.
Welcome to our little family. If you need anything, don't hesitate to pop in and ask.
Thanks, I will. Are you the landlady?
Well, no, more like unofficial concierge. I do a bit of cleaning for a number of the apartments. I was wondering if you'd like me to tidy up for you, too. My rates are very fair.
I'm sure they are, but I think I'll be able to manage.
I know what you're up to, young man.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're embarrassed because you have a young lady with you.
How'd you know?
Educated guess. I was your age too once. Don't worry. Your secret's safe with me. Now, you sure I can't help with the cleaning?
Thanks anyway, Mrs. Harris, but I've got this running bet with my mother that I can't look after myself, and I'd like to prove her wrong.
First time away from home. Oh, well, as I said, if you need any help, just let me know.
Well, thanks again. I'm sorry.
Bye,
Mrs. Harris.
Stephen.
Bye.
How did you sleep?
Terrible. Next door at it again all last night. I got abused by Miss Logan again. I've got 3 hours sleep and I'm late for work again.
Isn't that funny? I didn't hear a thing. Have you met your new neighbour, Steve O'Donnell?
No, hope he hasn't got a stereo, but...
I don't think so. He seemed very quiet and polite.
Oh, thank God for
Though
that.
there was something about him. He seemed very nervous.
Well, he's probably kept awake all last night to the noise.
Well, I don't think it was that. He seemed very edgy.
Well, I don't blame him. I mean, I'm becoming a nervous wreck living in this madhouse.
It may be my imagination, but I have a feeling he's hiding something.
As long as he's quiet about it, I really don't give a damn. Now, if you'll excuse me, Edith, I'm late enough for work as it is.
Bye, Max.
Bye.
Flaming luck. Getting a puncture.
Perhaps we could find the headmaster and tell him you'll be late.
Oh, very funny.
Hi. Flat tyre, eh?
No, ran out of petrol.
There it is.
Sick to death of flaming punctures.
Going out, mate?
Yeah, orientation lecture for the new job.
Ah, the new job.
No, don't you start. I just had a real blowout with the old man. I thought I'd find some smiling faces here until the bus came.
Well, you know what these fathers are like with their big plans that they've got for the futures of their sons.
Yeah, well, I've made up my mind, and that's that.
Yeah, well, as long as you've thought it through, mate.
What's that supposed to mean?
It all sounds pretty exciting, but where do you go from being a steward?
Who cares? We'll worry about that when the time comes.
Whatever turns you on.
All right, smarty pants. What have you thought about your own future, then?
Enough?
Yeah?
Yeah, what do you want to do with yourself?
You'd be surprised.
Try us.
Well, for a start, I wouldn't toss in an engineering career to fly from one airport to another as a glorified waiter.
A waiter? I'm getting a bit sick and tired of people taking digs at me about being a waiter.
You dole out food and drinks all the
Oh,
time.
yeah, and what happens if the plane crashes, eh?
Yeah, Paul. What happens when the plane crashes?
You're joking.
Ah, so they threw him in the back of the van and took him to the station.
Unreal.
That was great. Morning, Julie.
Morning. I hear your boyfriend showed you a really great time last night.
I don't want to talk about it, thank you, Marilyn.
I don't blame you. I knew it eventually shows true colours. So where's the boy Chunder now?
Oh, Arnold bailed him out late last night. He's still in the office with him now.
Wouldn't you love to be a fly on the wall?
There.
Well, children, I'm afraid the future of this bank has a major cloud over it.
Why is that?
I've decided to withdraw my indispensable services.
Get him, will you?
Oh, don't worry, mate. We'll muddle through somehow.
I just wish this could have been another time and another place, Marilyn. We could have been great together. Oh, by the way, Jules, the boys are having another party and they've asked me to tell you you've been invited as guest of honour.
Oh, look, you're making me sick, Greg.
Yeah, I'll miss you too. Oh, by the way, Des, I nearly forgot the old man wants to see you.
No?
Yeah. Well, boys and girls, this isn't au revoir. This is goodbye.
Come. Sit down, Des.
Thanks. I believe you want to see me.
Yes.
Well, if it's about last night, I guarantee my complete discretion on the matter.
I would appreciate that, Des. As of this morning, my son is no longer with us.
I've heard.
Yes. Well, I asked to see you because I believe that I owe you an apology.
Really? Why?
Well, first of all, I have discovered that my son did make mistakes with the credit analysis program for which I held you responsible. I was wrong, and I'm sorry. Secondly, I must admit that your domestic arrangements are nobody's business but your own, and I should not have commented on them.
I accept your apology. Are you saying you should have recommended me for Canberra?
I think that is pointless to discuss that now. I admit that I've misjudged you, and I'm pleased that you're not going to Canberra. As you know, the assistant managerial position is becoming vacant, and I would like you to have it.
Well, thanks for apologising, Mr. Arnold. But I'm afraid you're too late.
What's this?
My resignation.
It's about time you got here. My pension check's missing, and I'm sure he's taken it.
Who's taken it?
Ramsay, of course. You're here to arrest him, aren't you?
No, we're responding to a call from a Mrs. Harris.
That's me. What's the problem?
The problem is we've got a kleptomaniac in the building, and he's stealing everything that isn't nailed down. First of all, it was my milk, and then it was my knickers, and now my pension check.
Miss Logan, you got your pension check last week. You've just forgotten about it.
I wouldn't trust her either. She's far too chummy with Ramsay, if you ask me.
You called about tenants disappearing.
Yes. I noticed their door was ajar, number 18. When I went in to investigate, I found the place empty. They owed 2 months' rent.
You said they had a lot of hi-fi equipment.
Yes, the tenant next door complained a lot about the noise, though I must admit I didn't hear anything. I'm a very sound sleeper.
Not only that, he reckons he's a sleepwalker. But I know a cat burglar when I see one.
Who are you talking about?
Are you deaf or stupid, young woman? Ramsay, of course. He tried to tell me he was a sleepwalker, but he didn't fool me for an instant.
Do you suspect them of something, Constable?
The description you gave us matches with a couple we've been looking for. Specialists in hi-fi and electronics gear.
That might explain why they were always lugging boxes in and out.
Where can we contact Mr. Ramsay?
Oh, he's a plumber. I don't think he can be contacted during the day. Shall I ask him to call you?
If you would.
Oh, I wouldn't listen to him. You can't trust him as far as you can kick him.
There's nothing left.
We'll need a statement from you, Mrs. Harris.
And what about me?
Anything you can tell us about the couple would be very useful.
You did what?
I quit. I don't think he's joking.
I'm not.
Are you out of your mind? Why would you give up a perfectly good job?
Perfectly lousy job.
At least it was a job.
Oh, credit me with some brains, will you? I found a better one.
Oh, you're doing what?
Selling real estate.
Why didn't you tell me?
Well, I just wanted to check that it was all right first. Daphne, get the champagne.
You can be a dark horse sometimes.
Well, it's you're not the only ones who can make career changes, you know.
When do you start?
I'm not sure yet. Have to ring him tomorrow.
You're lucky you've just missed them.
Oh.
The police. It's only fair to warn you, I've reported you.
Oh, very nice.
I've decided not to press charges this time, but you would be so lucky in future.
Thanks, Miss Logan. I'll behave myself in future, I swear.
Well, don't think I won't be keeping my eye on you.
Yeah, well, very kind. Oh. I don't suppose you belong to Miss Logan, would you?